This video contains the top 3 best Town Hall 15 attack strategies to 3-star any base. First, our third best army is the Zap Titans, a smash attack using lightning spells. So to start off, you want to create funneling. This is typically done with the Warden Walk, lightning spells, and the Flame Flare. You use the Warden Walk to kind of set something up, then you want to use your lightning spells. Specifically, try to get an Expo and any other defenses, something like the Monolith, Inferno, Eagle Artillery, Spell Towers, etc. Those are things that you want to try and remove alongside that Expo, so your Flame Flinger could go in for the Town Hall and other defenses. This is really important to make sure that you're able to establish something. So from that point on, you can practically just allow your Warden Walk to do its own thing. You have the Flame Flinger, and you want to make sure that it is guaranteed to go towards the Town Hall. As long as there is no Expo or Monolith in front of that Town Hall, you should be completely fine to allow it to remove it. Just be sure to look out for Teslas or skeleton traps, just to make sure that you are prioritizing on keeping as much HP on that Flame Flinger as possible. Other than that, this works incredibly well, and your Flame Flinger will be able to clear one part of your funnel while your Warden Walk sets up the other side. You should also try to set up funneling before you actually send your smash in. So bringing Sneaky Goblins or Super Barbarians is a good play if the base is more open. From there, you can send in all of your troops for the Titans. You can have the Apprentice Warden, the Queen, and of course the Electro Titans moving in. They don't necessarily need spells, but using rage spells to boost them through the base can honestly help quite a bit. So using those rage spells to get the most value is really nice. You can also use the Grand Warden ability early to protect everything as they're going into some high value defenses. You've got the Barbarian King to set up one part of your funnel to make sure the Titans are going in a certain direction, and that just allows you to continue to work your way through, with the rage spells being paired with those Electro Titans to do massive damage. Outside of that, your Titans will be able to easily move through as long as there are open compartments to work towards. You also have your back-end Royal Champion, where you can pair that with a skeleton spell to remove something like the Monolith. This is an incredibly nice thing to do, as it can practically clear through a bunch of different defenses and keep your Royal Champion alive. That is the major plus of using the skeleton spell in a strategy like this. You really don't need poison when you've got Electro Titans. Otherwise, they're gonna smash through the base like it is nothing. For the second best army, we have the Super Barch, still a relatively strong yet a bit of a riskier strategy. However, it is still the same as before, using balloons to help the Warden move in, get maybe a little bit deeper if there's no Teslas on the outside, but using the Grand Warden and his ability before the Blimp leaves is incredibly important. As it flies into the core, you want to make sure that you're preparing to use an invisibility spell. Wait a couple seconds, drop in another invisibility spell, then place in 2 clones, 1 rage, and another invisibility, and this will be timed every 4 seconds. This is going to establish a lot of value for you, getting rid of multiple things, such as the Eagle, Monolith, Town Hall, Infernos, as much as you can off of the base. Even if you don't get rid of the scatter shots, you'll be completely fine. So you just want to make sure that you're clearing as much of the core of the base, because realistically, the rest of the attack is on the outside. So from here, your Super Barch is quite simple, using Super Barbarians to kind of set the funnel, and using your Electro Titan, Apprentice Warden, King, Queen, and Ice Golems. It's really, really important that you're doing this, but you also want to make sure that you are establishing a funnel. So in some cases, you might have the Electro Titan move in the wrong direction, but that's completely fine, as you still have a large portion of your support troops, and you have the Super Barbarians. You're just placing them all around the base, allowing them to get some really nice value, and of course, you just want to make sure that you are using those Super Barbarians so they can tank and clear a funnel for the rest of your heroes, basically. Just want to make sure that you're continuously working through with them. So using at least 1 or 2 or even 3 per building, usually on defenses, can be a really good idea. If you have any super wall breakers to take, which I kind of would recommend, you could open up areas that are not just, they don't have open wall segments, so you can really take advantage of those things. But outside of that, you can use your back-end Royal Champion with everything as they kind of move all around the base. Having that Royal Champion will really help, especially since she has Diggy. So making sure to take advantage of Diggy, and also just having your Super Barbarians clearing out point defenses and basically low DPS splash defenses, it can work insanely well. This is why it is still a very top tier strategy, and for casual players, you can easily use this for 3 stars. It's a very easy strategy. It really just takes a little bit more time to get comfortable with it, especially since now it is a little bit more riskier thanks to the Blimp nerf, but it's still a fantastic option to try out and still utilize. And for the best Town Hall 15 strategy, we have the Queen Charge Super Hogs. The twin hog format is just insanely good right now, but the main idea is to start with the Queen Charge, so you mainly want to start with that. Of course, what I would also recommend that you do is use something to set the funnel, so the Barbarian King is perfect in this case. Since he has no other real purpose, funneling is the main thing that he should be doing for the queen. Of course, outside of that, you just want to make sure that you're kind of pushing your way in with the queen. Having a headhunter there to help deal with the enemy queen, and then using rage spells as you enter into an area of high DPS. I'm talking multiple point defenses at every raged up building that you could imagine, all right there. Now, of course, if you see that a CC is lureable, then you should easily lure this out and deal with it quite early with the use of the queen. This is incredibly important, and you want to make sure that you're doing this. Of course, if you're going into an area of heavily raged up defenses, my suggestion is to use a freeze on top of that rage before it pops. But otherwise, you can just use your queen ability earlier and kind of get through it. It is very, very scary, but being able to get through this is the name of the game. You want to clear as much of the core as possible to make sure that the Super Hogs and the Hog Riders have an easy time through the rest of the base. Now, once that Rage spell tower kind of wears off, in this case, you can then send in those Super Hogs with the Royal Champion and using support Hog Riders. Now, the one thing that you might have noticed is the Battle Blimp, the Yeti Blimp, has not been used. Well, while this is going on, you can use the Yeti Blimp for the Town Hall in certain cases, like in this one, where the Town Hall, really, there's a lot of value around it. Since the Yeti Blimp can easily remove the Town Hall with the use of that rocket loot and stuff, you can easily clear those. Of course, you have other options. You can use the Battle Blimp over an Inferno or a Scatter Shot to help with your Queen Charge. But in some cases, it's not even needed. Other than that, any leftover rage spells you can actually use with your Super Hogs and Hog Riders, and you also even have a skeleton spell to distract things such as the Monolith. The Monolith usually is the best defense to use a skeleton spell on, so your Royal Champion can more than easily clear through the rest of the back end. This is a really nice strategy. Having back end Hog Riders, having the Royal Champion up, and having any other leftover cleanup troops is always incredibly nice to have. This is why it is a very, very strong option to 3-star with this, and it works really well on multiple different spell tower options, even the inclusion of an invisibility spell tower. So it's a really good option for you to try. Just make sure you have some cleanup, so bring in some minions, I would recommend that. But even if not, you will, for the most part, get a really nice 3-star with this strategy, as it is just that powerful.